Kevin Durant wants out of Brooklyn. He wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets. He's officially requested a trade. What's good with everybody? Welcome back to another gifted upload. This is an insane video right here. I got to be honest with you. Kevin Durant wanting out and wanting to go somewhere else shakes up the entire league. So let's just get right into it. So I heard the news when I was at work. I was doing my thing. Someone FaceTimed me. And I just thought, there's no way that you're telling the truth. They DM'd me the Shams notification breaking Kevin Durant wanting to be gone. And it was an insane day. Like all over Twitter, social media. This really was the talk of the town. My initial thoughts on the trade is this is a colossal failure for the Brooklyn Nets. And we've actually covered this before on the channel. Talking about the truth behind Kevin Durant and the Nets. This is not necessarily surprising, but it is very shocking, if that makes sense. It's like the impact of it is something that I wasn't feeling, because I just thought Kevin Durant would remain silent. This all started when the Brooklyn Nets attempted to fake negotiate with Kyrie Irving. Now, do I believe that Kyrie Irving deserved a longer contract extension? Probably not. But ultimately, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, when they signed with the Brooklyn Nets, they have had power to basically run the franchise, run the organization's moves, because every move that the organization made, for the most part, went through those two players. So when Kyrie Irving doesn't get his max contract extension, and Kevin Durant wanted him to get his max contract extension, and the Brooklyn Nets forced Kyrie's bluff and made him opt in, I think right there, that is when Kevin Durant said, I want to be traded. I say that because when you really look at it, Kevin Durant choosing to want out of Brooklyn, to me, stems from the idea that he no longer can have control of exact situations. Because if he wanted Kyrie's contract extension and they didn't do it anyway, then that is a sign that KD and Kyrie have lost the control that they had early on the organization. And what makes this crazier is, at some point in this video, we have to apologize to James Harden, by the way, because the news about James Harden was that he doesn't want to win. He's leaving Brooklyn. Why would he leave Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving? This is why. Like, the dysfunction that has been in this franchise since day one, and all they have to show for it is one playoff victory. This is an all-time colossal disappointment. And that's by all three players, of course, but also the asset mismanagement. Brooklyn traded their entire future for James Harden. And they got James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, who played all of 16 games together due to injury, vaccine mandate, whatever you want to call it. They only played 16 games together. Now, can you knock Brooklyn? I'll say this, no. We can't have any revisionist history, because at the time, James Harden was a top 5 player in the NBA. So I definitely understand the moves, but ultimately, for you to give up all of that for James Harden, and then you trade James Harden again for Ben Simmons, a player that has much to prove, hasn't played, he's been hurt, and you get DeAndre Drummond, Seth Curry, and some picks, you lose that trade, because you're comparing that to the massive haul that the Rockets got, to where they have all of the Nets' first-round picks all the way through 2027. And that's what makes this situation so complicated, because now that we understand that, the Nets have to find a way to get a massive haul back to where they can be competitive immediately, because they don't get any advantage for losing, because they don't get any value picks out of that until 2027. So the Nets are trying to be competitive, but when you're trading Kevin Durant and you're trading Kyrie Irving, your team is going to get a lot worse. And now that opens up questions about Ben Simmons. What is his role on the team? Are they going to try to flip Ben Simmons too? Can they really build around Ben Simmons? Now that's another answer that they have to come up with, on top of the fact that Kyrie Irving is still on the roster, which if KD wants out, Kyrie's gone too. Only has 1 year left. He's not going to be a net forever, but his market is also limited. And then that brings us to the crux of the video, because what's insane is that there is a chance, this is a conspiracy, this is a gifted conspiracy, but there's a chance that, again, this was orchestrated by Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And now that Kyrie has now opted in, it's going to be harder for them to play together. But there's a chance that they still want to play together on the same team, just not in Brooklyn due to them losing control of the situation. And if that's the case, you now have to comb through the league, find a team that has $90 million worth of cap space. Then you have to find a front office that is as easily influenced as the Brooklyn Nets. And then you have to find a return to where Brooklyn can be happy to even do the trade if you hypothetically want to get Kyrie and KD traded to the same team, which I just don't think is realistic. It's a lot too much going on. There's only like 10 days of free agency. I think what's going to happen is they're probably going to be traded to separate destinations. And then in the next free agency next year, when Kyrie comes off of that contract extension, they then might reunite on another team. But this whole situation is crazy. And what makes it crazier is it happened on June 30th, 2022. June 30th, 2016, maybe 2017, I forget. Kevin Durant signed with Golden State. And to me, like, this entire chase of what Brooklyn was supposed to be, Brooklyn was an opportunity for Kevin Durant to prove to everybody else and himself that he could win without Golden State. And he went to Brooklyn, in my estimation, to win championships the way that he wanted to win championships. And he got his team. They got rid of the coach, and that was ran by KD. And they literally came to a decision. Like, they had a lion's share of the responsibilities of the front office. And again, that's on the front office for being as easily influenced by players. True. That's true. But at the same time, when you're Kevin Durant and you're Kyrie Irving, and you're going to a Brooklyn Nets franchise that hasn't had much going on them for damn near a decade, of course, they're going to be in control. But this shows you that players should not be in control of front office situations. Front offices have to step up. And what makes this so sad for the Brooklyn Nets is they chose to step up. They reached their boiling point as far as asset management and decisions at the very wrong, like the worst timing ever. Because you're doing this now when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are on the table to leave your franchise. This is not the time to make a stand. They should have made it earlier. They should have paused at the initial Harden trade, or even after they got Harden. There were moments in the road for them to do this. You don't do this now. And because of that, now your franchise and how competitive they will be for the next decade is now in question. So yeah, this whole situation is very, very messy. I think it's ironic that it's happening during Golden State winning the championship in the offseason. Some people have said that might have influenced Kevin Durant's choice. To be honest, I really don't know. This situation is very, very messy though. Apparently his destinations are between the Suns. I think the Heat are a long shot opportunity. But honestly, if I'm Brooklyn, like, you have Kevin Durant signed up to 4 years. You obviously have to communicate with him in some capacity to get him gone. But you don't have to obey exactly where he wants to go. Because once you trade Kevin Durant, that's it. So they need to get the haul of a lifetime and move on. But what makes the situation so tough is this is happening during free agency, a time where teams are trying to outfit their rosters, create cap space, and make other plays to make their team better. But half the league is trying to get Kevin Durant. So now free agency as a whole, like all of those other contract signings, are now completely impacted by this, which makes this such an insane offseason. Insane. Yeah, I really don't know exactly how to fully respond to this, but this was insane for me to watch. This was insane for me to find out again while I'm working. And I really just wanted to have a video like posting my reaction to the trade, because this is wild. This is by far the biggest disappointment, I think, in NBA history for 3 star level, almost MVP caliber players outside of Kyrie, although maybe, like to come together, to be that dominant when they played together, and to only have one playoff win to show for it. And the very next year after that playoff win, James Harden is traded, and then you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie, and then they get Ben Simmons, and then Kevin Durant and Kyrie play basketball towards the end of the season, and then they get swept in the playoffs, and now they're just gone. This is wild. Wild times in the NBA. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to have some more videos coming out soon. I appreciate y'all's support. I got to dip out, but we'll catch you in the next NBA offseason video. Peace out, people. Crazy times.